They say that civilization begins along the river bank, and it's no different in Andalusia. The great river that defines Andalusia is here. It's called the Guadalquivir, or from Arabic, Guadalquivir, big river. Lazy name. But even if the river is lazy, liver is lazy. I want liver for dinner. Okay, even if the river is lazy, it's doing a lot of work because it provides for agriculture through the irrigation systems that were very prevalent and were built up over centuries by the Romans and by the Arabs, and maintained by the descendants of the Arabs that lived in Andalusia even after they were forced to Christianize. Muslims, in fact, were kind of kept around without as much bothering as the Jews because of how useful they were in maintaining these agricultural systems that central government in Spain was so reliant on. But in the end, by the 17th century, they're not going to permit that any longer, and they went after crypto Muslims the same way they went out of the crypto Jews, with an absolute ruthlessness. But it was an obvious place for where the Muslims would retire to, the Andalusians. They just went to Morocco, where you find lots of people with Spanish surnames in Morocco. And they're usually Andalusians, whether they're Muslims or Jewish. Of course, founding the city of Chefchaouen, for example, and very much building up the city of Essaouira, which is noted for its Andalusian style and high population of Iberian Jews. Seville was once one of the wealthiest cities in Europe. In fact, probably the wealthiest and most sophisticated cities in all of Europe when it was under Muslim rule. And to a certain extent, it was preserved in this grandeur under the Spanish Empire. It would get to benefit perhaps from the vast wealth looted from the Americas, from Peru and Mexico. The Tower of Gold, no one knows where it gets its name, but there would be no shortage of theories. The joke amongst the indigenous people of the Americas was that the Spanish had a disease and the only cure was more gold. That was the only way they could kind of explain the rapaciousness and greed, the insatiable avarice of the Spaniards for that one particular commodity that, while the Indians did value it, not quite to the same extent as the Iberians. Everywhere in Europe you kind of see legacies of colonialism, and Spain is no different. You'll run into communities of Cubans, Venezuelans, Colombians, Mexicans in Spain for obvious reasons. But it's interesting to sort of like look at that, how it happens over generations, how things that are not indigenous kind of to a region get absorbed into it. And Spain was, of course, ground zero for the introduction into Europe of all these New World crops: maize, potatoes, tomatoes. It's hard to imagine Spain without it. Well, maybe not that hard, but as we walk along the Guadalquivir River, we can reflect on how much blood was spilt in the name of that accursed yellow metal that moves men's hearts to the most evil places.